Some diseases arrive quietly. No pain, no obvious symptoms, just a silent, steady decline happening inside your body, day after day. Fatty liver disease, also known as hepatic steatosis, is one of them. And what's most alarming is that more than 1 in 3 adults over 60 may already have it, without even knowing. I'm Dr. William Carter, and if you're over 60, this message could change everything about how you see your health, your fatigue, and even your digestion. Fatty liver used to be rare. In the 1990s, only people with alcoholism were typically affected. Today, it's an epidemic, even in children. But here's the problem. Most people assume fatty liver isn't serious. They hear the word fat and think it's just stuff. But what they don't realize is that fat in the liver leads directly to inflammation, fibrosis, cirrhosis, and eventually liver failure or cancer. And the worst part, you won't feel it coming. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 17 signs and symptoms that your liver may be accumulating fat, silently and dangerously. I'll divide them into 2 parts. The 6 early warning signs that your liver is under stress, and the 11 advanced symptoms that indicate more serious progression and demand urgent action. I'll also reveal the #1 food that triggers liver fat in older adults, how to tell if you have it, even without symptoms, and the natural, science-backed plan I give my own patients to reverse this condition. Because there's good news too. Your liver is the only organ in your body that can fully regenerate itself, but only if you catch the damage in time. That's why you can't ignore these signs, because once fibrosis sets in, it's no longer reversible. And if it progresses to cirrhosis or liver cancer, the consequences are life-altering. So, before we begin, hit that subscribe button for more evidence-based videos on senior health and prevention, and stay with me until the very end. Because the final tips I'll share can literally change the trajectory of your liver health starting tomorrow morning. Let's start with what most people never recognize. The first 6 early warning signs that fat may already be building up inside your liver. Let's start with what might seem like ordinary, everyday problems, but often signal the beginning of something much more serious inside your liver. 1. Persistent fatigue. That doesn't make sense. The liver is your body's energy generator. It metabolizes nutrients, breaks down toxins, stores glucose, and produces the very fuel that your cells rely on. But when your liver becomes infiltrated with fat, even in the early stages, this powerhouse begins to stall. Fatigue becomes a daily visitor, not the kind of tiredness that comes from a long walk or a poor night's sleep, but the kind that lingers from the moment you wake up and never really goes away. You may find yourself napping more, avoiding activity, or waking up still feeling drained, even after a full night's rest. It's not just physical exhaustion either. Mental fog, low motivation, and an emotional flatness often accompany this kind of liver-related fatigue. It feels like your body is working harder just to do the basics, and that's because it is. In my clinic, I often hear patients say, "I just thought I was getting older." But when we do the testing, we find fatty infiltration of the liver, often grade 1 or 2, and when they begin to reverse the condition, the energy comes back. 2. Digestive issues like heartburn, nausea, and fullness. Fatty liver doesn't just sit in the background. It starts to disrupt the very systems that keep your digestion running smoothly. A recent study from the Federal University of Minas Gerais in Brazil showed that patients with hepatic steatosis were twice as likely to experience upper GI symptoms, including heartburn, sour reflux, bloating after meals, and nausea, because the liver plays a key role in producing bile, which is essential for breaking down fats. When the liver is inflamed or sluggish, bile production suffers. That leads to poor digestion, irritation of the stomach lining, and a heaviness after meals that feels like your food just won't settle. Margaret, a 66-year-old patient of mine, used to carry antacids in her purse everywhere she went. Once we confirmed fatty liver and shifted her to a liver-friendly eating pattern, her reflux and bloating reduced dramatically in just 3 weeks, without any new medication. 3. Excessive gas and bloating. That feels embarrassing. One of the more surprising symptoms, gas. While we don't often associate flatulence with liver health, the connection is clear. Fatty liver has been shown to alter gut microbiota, the balance of bacteria in your intestines. When the liver is overloaded, these changes can trigger fermentation in the gut, leading to increased gas production. Radiologists often notice this during abdominal ultrasounds. The amount of gas can even obscure visibility of nearby organs, like the pancreas. This isn't just a social inconvenience. It's a biological signal that your liver and gut are no longer in sync. Patients report frequent belching, uncomfortable abdominal pressure, or having to loosen their waistbands after meals. If you've been blaming your diet or age for this discomfort, it might be time to take a closer look at your liver. When the liver begins to struggle, it often speaks through the gut, and while these signs can be mistaken for everyday issues, they're actually early distress signals. and ignoring them could allow the disease to progress silently. 4. Pain or pressure under your right rib cage. Many people with early-stage fatty liver begin to notice an unusual discomfort just below their right rib. It's not always a sharp pain. Sometimes it's more of a nagging pressure, dull ache, or fullness on the upper right side of the abdomen. This is where your liver lives, and as fat builds up, the liver may enlarge and press against neighboring structures. The discomfort might worsen after meals or when sitting in certain positions. In some cases, the liver's size can even irritate the phrenic nerve, which causes referred pain up toward the right shoulder or neck. It's easy to dismiss this as gas or posturing, but it's often your liver expanding as it struggles to function properly. This symptom is common but widely underreported, especially in seniors who chalk it up to aging or digestion. But in my experience, it's one of the earliest, location-specific clues that hepatic fat has crossed the threshold of concern. 5. Loss of appetite that comes without warning. Another sign that surprises patients is a gradual disinterest in food, or even aversion to meals they once enjoyed. This isn't a deliberate dietary shift, it's a metabolic signal. As fat accumulates in the liver, inflammation increases and hormonal balance begins to shift. One result is a disruption of ghrelin and leptin, the two hormones responsible for hunger and satiety, combined with low-grade inflammation and sluggish digestion. This leads to a suppressed appetite. Some patients eat less simply because they feel full quickly or feel slightly nauseous after meals. Others begin skipping meals altogether without realizing why. Over time, this can contribute to unintentional weight loss, but not in a healthy way. If you found yourself skipping breakfast more often, avoiding dinner, or noticing that food just doesn't appeal to you, your liver might be behind it. 6. Morning nausea or an upset stomach after fatty meals. This is another subtle but important symptom. Mild, recurrent nausea, especially in the morning or after eating foods that are high in fat. Here's why it happens. The liver's job is to produce and regulate bile, which is essential for breaking down fats. When the liver is inflamed or overloaded with fat, bile production becomes erratic or insufficient. That leads to poor digestion and a backlog of undigested fats in the stomach and intestines. This can cause nausea, indigestion, or even vomiting in more advanced cases. Additionally, the enlarged liver can physically press against the stomach, especially when lying flat or bending over. That pressure adds to the sensation of fullness and queasiness. In some patients, this becomes a daily pattern. They wake up feeling slightly sick, can't tolerate breakfast, and attribute it to aging or sensitive stomach. But when we run liver panels, the truth often emerges. In the early stages, fatty liver tends to whisper, but as it progresses, the signs become more visible on your skin, in your eyes, and even in the toilet. These outward changes are the liver's way of signaling that it's struggling to keep up. 7. Itching that has no clear cause. Chronic itching, especially on the palms, soles, or back, is one of the most overlooked symptoms of liver dysfunction. Here's why it happens. When the liver fails to properly process bile acids, these acids can leak into the bloodstream and deposit in the skin. The result? Persistent, unexplained itching, medically known as. This itching is usually worse at night and often doesn't come with a rash. It's not an allergy. It's a sign that your liver's filtration system is faltering. One of my patients, Helen 72, came to me thinking she had dry skin or a reaction to soap. But the real culprit was hidden inflammation in her liver, confirmed through elevated liver enzymes and ultrasound imaging. If you've been scratching more often and moisturizing doesn't help, it might be time to consider your liver as the source. 8. Yellowing of the eyes or skin. Jaundice is perhaps the most classic and recognizable sign of liver distress. It occurs when bilirubin, a yellow pigment normally processed by the liver, begins to accumulate in the bloodstream. This causes the whites of the eyes to turn yellow first, followed by the skin in more advanced cases. Most people associate jaundice with liver failure, but it can also appear in moderate stages of fatty liver, especially if bile flow is impaired. It's crucial to check yourself under natural light. If your eyes have a yellow tint, even slightly, that's not just tiredness or poor lighting. It could be a red flag that your liver can no longer keep bilirubin in check. 9. Pale or clay-colored stool. Your stool says more about your liver than you might think. Normally, the brown color of stool comes from bile salts that the liver excretes into the digestive tract. But when the liver is inflamed or blocked, bile flow is reduced, and the stool becomes noticeably lighter, pale. This change often happens gradually and can be missed if you don't look. If you've noticed your bowel movements look unusually light or off in color, and especially if this continues for more than a few days, it's time to check liver function. It's a sign that bile isn't reaching the intestine, and fat may not be digesting properly. 10. Dark urine that resembles tea or cola. On the opposite end of the spectrum, urine can darken when bilirubin spills into the bloodstream and is filtered through the kidneys. If your urine looks amber brown or cola-colored, especially if you're well hydrated, that's a major warning sign. This happens because the liver isn't processing bilirubin efficiently, and your kidneys are picking up the slack, combined with pale stool. This is a classic 1-2 punch that doctors recognize as a hallmark of liver trouble. Don't dismiss it as dehydration. If your urine remains dark for more than a day or two despite drinking water, your liver may be the underlying issue. As fatty liver disease progresses, it doesn't just affect digestion or energy. It starts interfering with how your blood clots, how your hormones are balanced, and how your skin appears. In this section, we'll explore the vascular and hormonal signs that something deeper is wrong. 11. Red spots or tiny bruises on your skin. One of the lesser-known signs of liver dysfunction is the appearance of pitaya, tiny red or purple dots on the skin, usually on the arms, chest, or legs. These are caused by broken capillaries or small bleeds under the skin, often related to a decline in the liver's ability to produce clotting factors like fibrinogen and prothrombin. Without these proteins, your blood becomes slower to clot, meaning minor trauma can lead to visible bleeding just beneath the surface. This may also show up as easy bruising, especially on the forearms and legs. If you're noticing more mystery bruises or red pinpoint spots without injury, your liver may not be supporting your vascular system properly. 12. Spider veins or tele. You may have noticed web-like veins spreading across your chest, shoulders, or face. These aren't just cosmetic. They're a classic sign of elevated estrogen levels, often due to impaired liver function. Spider angiomas occur when small blood vessels dilate, forming red spots with thin lines radiating outward like a spider's web. They're most common on the upper chest, neck, and cheeks, and they usually signal that the liver is struggling to filter out excess hormones. Why does this happen? The liver plays a major role in metabolizing and eliminating estrogen. When it becomes fatty or inflamed, estrogen builds up in the bloodstream, leading to vascular changes visible right on the skin. 13. Gynecomastia, male breast enlargement. Perhaps one of the most alarming signs for men with fatty liver is gynecomastia, the development of breast tissue. This happens for the same reason as spider veins: estrogen dominance. When the liver is damaged, testosterone levels decline while estrogen rises. This hormonal imbalance can cause breast tissue to swell, sometimes accompanied by tenderness or nipple sensitivity. It's not just a cosmetic concern. Gynecomastia is a strong signal of internal metabolic dysfunction, and it often correlates with insulin resistance, obesity, and declining liver health. If you're male and noticing changes in chest contour or sensitivity, don't ignore it. It could be your liver asking for help. 14. Palmar erythema, redness of the palms. Another subtle but telling symptom is palmar erythema, a persistent redness across the palms of the hands. It's caused by dilated capillaries in response to hormonal changes and impaired blood flow, especially in cases of chronic liver disease. The redness typically spares the center of the palm and is more pronounced around the base of the thumb and pinky. Although not painful, it can be a key clinical clue that the liver is failing to properly regulate blood flow and hormone levels. If your palms seem unusually red, especially when combined with other symptoms, it's worth investigating further. These vascular and hormonal changes are not random. They're systemic consequences of a liver that's losing its ability to filter toxins, regulate hormones, and support circulation. In Part 5, we'll explore how liver dysfunction starts affecting your vision, nails, and cognitive clarity. Signs that should never be ignored. Some signs of liver damage don't scream for attention, they whisper. But those whispers can be just as dangerous if ignored. In this part, we'll cover how fatty liver disease affects your vision, extremities, and even your brain. 15. Night blindness, or trouble seeing in dim light. You might chalk it up to aging, needing more light to read, struggling to see in the dark, or having difficulty adjusting from light to darkness. But night blindness, also called nyctalopia, can be a sign that your liver is no longer processing or storing vitamin A properly. The liver plays a crucial role in converting beta-carotene and storing vitamin A, which is essential for producing rhodopsin, a pigment in the retina that enables low-light vision. As fatty liver progresses, vitamin A reserves shrink, and the first thing to suffer is your night vision. If you've started turning on lights more often, avoiding night driving, or struggling to see in dim restaurants, your liver could be part of the reason. 16. White or pale nails. Take a look at your fingernails. Are they pale, almost white, with a faint pink or brown band at the tip? This appearance, known as leukinesia, is often associated with low albumin levels caused by liver dysfunction. Albumin is a key protein made by the liver that helps maintain fluid balance and nutrient transport. When the liver is damaged, albumin production drops, and the lack of healthy blood flow beneath the nails creates a pale, dull appearance. White nails are not just cosmetic. They signal malnutrition, liver fibrosis, or even cirrhosis in later stages. It's one of those quiet clues that doctors often notice during physical exams. Now you can notice it too. 17. Swelling in the legs, ankles, or feet. Have your shoes started feeling tighter? Are your socks leaving deep marks on your ankles? That swelling could be more than poor circulation. It might be liver-related edema. As liver function declines, the production of albumin drops. This reduces the blood's ability to retain fluid, causing water to leak into surrounding tissues, especially in the lower extremities. You might see puffy ankles, soft indentations when pressing the skin, or a general feeling of heaviness in the legs. These symptoms worsen after standing or sitting for long periods. In more advanced cases, swelling may also be due to portal hypertension, increased pressure in the portal vein caused by liver scarring. Chronic edema is not just uncomfortable, it's a sign your liver's support system is breaking down. Bonus symptom, mental confusion or brain fog. One of the most dangerous and under-recognized complications of advanced fatty liver is hepatic encephalopathy. This occurs when the liver can't properly remove toxins like ammonia from the bloodstream. As these toxins build up, they affect cognitive function. You may experience difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, personality changes, irritability, or even episodes of In severe cases, it can progress to slurred speech, tremors, or confusion about time and place. If you or a loved one over 60 is having unusual mental symptoms that seem to fluctuate throughout the day, especially in combination with physical signs, it's critical to check liver function immediately. Your liver is silently connected to your vision, skin, hormones, blood vessels, and even your brain. These late-stage symptoms should not be brushed off. But here's the good news. Fatty liver disease can often be reversed or stabilized if caught in time. In Part 6, we'll shift from symptoms to root causes, the 5 most common risk factors that silently lead to fat buildup in the liver. Some of them may surprise you. Understanding the symptoms of fatty liver is only half the battle. If you truly want to reverse or prevent this disease, you need to understand what causes it in the first place. Most people think fatty liver is just about diet, but it's far more complex. In fact, 5 silent triggers are behind the majority of cases, and some of them could be affecting you right now, even if you feel fine. Let's break them down one by one. 1. Obesity, the largest driver of liver fat. Being overweight doesn't just affect how you look. It directly impacts how your liver works. Excess body fat, especially visceral fat around the abdomen, inflammatory molecules called cytokines that travel to your liver and trigger fat storage in liver cells. As this fat accumulates, your liver becomes inflamed, scarred, and eventually dysfunctional. Studies show that over 70% of people with obesity have some level of fatty liver, and many don't know it. If your waist circumference is more than 40 inches for men or 35 inches for women, your liver is already under pressure. The good news, losing just 5 to 10% of your body weight can dramatically reduce liver fat and inflammation. 2. Type 2 diabetes, the insulin resistance connection. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, your liver is already in danger. Type 2 diabetes is marked by insulin resistance, which doesn't just raise blood sugar, it also promotes lipogenesis, or fat creation, especially in the liver. The result, a vicious cycle of fatty liver worsening blood sugar control and poor glucose control worsening fatty liver. Diabetics are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and the progression to liver scarring is faster. Managing blood sugar isn't just about avoiding complications. Like neuropathy, it's also about protecting your liver from silent damage. 3. High blood pressure, a hidden liver burden. You might not think blood pressure affects your liver, but it does. Hypertension can damage the blood vessels in your liver, impairing circulation and nutrient delivery. It also increases oxidative stress and inflammation throughout the body, including the liver. High blood pressure often exists alongside other liver risk factors like obesity, insulin resistance, and poor diet. When combined, these factors exponentially increase your risk of fatty liver and progression to cirrhosis. If your BP regularly exceeds 130/80 mmHg, take it seriously. It's not just about your heart. Your liver is at risk. 2. 4. Alcohol. Not always heavy use, but consistent use. You don't have to be a heavy drinker to damage your liver. Even moderate, regular alcohol intake can overload your liver's ability to metabolize toxins, triggering fat storage and inflammation. Alcohol increases the production of acetaldehyde, a toxic byproduct that damages liver cells, promotes oxidative stress, and weakens your liver's ability to repair itself. What's considered too much? For men, more than 2 standard drinks per day. For women, more than 1. But even occasional binge drinking, like several drinks on the weekend, can create shock waves in liver function that last days. If you already have signs of fatty liver, alcohol should be completely avoided to allow healing. 5. Sedentary lifestyle. Movement is medicine. The liver is deeply affected by how much you move. Physical inactivity contributes to insulin resistance, poor fat metabolism, and increased abdominal fat, all of which strain the liver. A sedentary lifestyle also reduces fat-burning enzymes, leading to more fat storage in the liver, even without excess calories. Simply sitting for long periods, whether it's watching TV, working from home, or driving, can impair your metabolic flexibility and liver fat clearance. The fix: 150 minutes of moderate activity per week. Walking, cycling, swimming, or strength training. You don't need a gym, you need consistency. These 5 triggers: obesity, diabetes, hypertension, alcohol, and inactivity don't just increase your risk of fatty liver, they accelerate its progression. The good news: each one of them is In the next part, we'll explore how to detect fatty liver early, even before symptoms appear, and the exact tests and imaging your doctor should be ordering. What if you have fatty liver and don't even know it? That's not just a possibility, it's extremely common. Over 1/3 of adults over 40 have fatty liver, and most of them are completely unaware. Why? Because early fatty liver rarely causes symptoms. In fact, the first time many people hear about it is by accident, during a routine blood test or abdominal ultrasound ordered for another reason. Let's walk through how to properly detect fatty liver, what tests matter most, and what to do if you fall into the silent zone. Blood tests. Subtle clues: your liver is struggling. Your liver produces many enzymes that can be measured in routine blood. When these enzymes are elevated, it may indicate liver stress or damage. The most common tests include ALT/AST, GGT. If your ALT or AST levels are elevated, even just slightly, that's a signal your liver isn't processing fat or toxins efficiently. However, don't assume normal blood work means your liver is fine. Many people with fatty liver have normal enzyme levels until damage is advanced. That's why imaging is essential. Ultrasound, the first line of imaging. An abdominal ultrasound is the most common and accessible way to screen for fatty liver. It uses sound waves to create images of your organs and can detect if your liver appears enlarged or brighter due to fat. The doctor may say your liver is normal, mildly, moderately, severely. These terms refer to the amount of fat in your liver, usually categorized by Grade 1, mild steatosis, Grade 2, moderate steatosis, Grade 3, severe. Grade 1 is fully reversible, and even Grade 2 can be improved with lifestyle changes. But Grade 3 indicates heavy fat infiltration, and the liver is now at risk for inflammation, fibrosis, and cirrhosis. The earlier you detect it, the better your odds of reversing it completely. Fibroscan and MRI, advanced detection tools. If your doctor wants more detailed information, they may order Fibroscan, a non-invasive device that measures liver stiffness. MRI with proton density fat fraction offers precise fat percentage in the liver. These tests are especially useful for people who already have elevated liver enzymes, diabetes, or metabolic syndrome. They help determine whether you're in the simple fatty liver phase, or if the condition has progressed to non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which includes inflammation and cell damage. When should you be tested? If you're over 50 and have any of the following, you should request liver screening: central obesity, high triglycerides or cholesterol, type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, elevated liver enzymes, history of alcohol use, chronic fatigue or unexplained nausea. Remember, fatty liver often flies under the radar until significant damage is done, and once scar tissue forms, it becomes much harder to reverse. Early detection is your best defense. In the next section, we'll go one step further. Now that you understand the symptoms, the causes, and how to detect fatty liver, I'll show you how to reverse it naturally. Not with medication, not with fads, but with simple daily habits that restore your liver's ability to clean, repair, and regenerate itself. You've learned how fatty liver develops. You've seen the early and advanced symptoms. You understand how to detect it before it becomes dangerous. Now, let's get practical. If you've been diagnosed with fatty liver, or even if you just suspect you might have it, this part is for you. I'm going to walk you through 4 proven, natural steps to reduce liver fat and help your liver repair itself. Because here's the truth, your liver has an incredible ability to regenerate, but only if you stop overwhelming it and start supporting it. Let's dive in. 1. Stop feeding the fire. Remove the root causes. First, and most important, eliminate what's causing the fat buildup in the first place. That means cutting out fructose, especially high fructose, corn syrup, found in sodas, fruit juices, ketchup, and processed snacks, refined grains, white bread, pasta, and cookies spike blood sugar and worsen insulin resistance. Added sugars, from cereals to sauces, excess sugar fuels fat production in the liver. Alcohol, even moderate alcohol, can worsen fatty liver. If you have it, you should eliminate alcohol entirely, at least until your liver recovers. Ultra-processed foods. If it comes in a package with a long list of ingredients, your liver probably hates it. When you stop overwhelming your liver with toxins, it can finally begin the healing process. 2. Lose just 5 to 7% of your body weight. You don't need to lose 50 pounds to make a difference. Research shows that losing as little as 5 to 7% of your current weight can reduce liver fat by up to 30%. Even better, a 10% weight loss can reduce liver inflammation and fibrosis. This isn't about crash diets. It's about reducing portion sizes, eating slowly and mindfully, eliminating snacking and late-night eating, choosing real, whole foods over packaged ones. And remember, this is about protecting your liver, not about fitting into smaller jeans. 3. Exercise like your liver depends on it, because it does. Exercise is one of the most powerful tools to reverse fatty liver. You don't need to run marathons, you just need to move consistently. Aim for 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity activity. Strength training 2 to 3 times a week to improve insulin sensitivity and burn visceral fat. Why does it work? Because movement tells your liver to start releasing stored fat and reduce inflammation. It also improves insulin sensitivity, which is critical for stopping the cycle of fat buildup. And best of all, the benefits happen even without major weight loss. For prioritize liver healing foods. Instead of focusing only on what to remove, let's talk about what to add. Because certain foods are powerful allies in your liver's repair process. Include these daily. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts help detoxify and reduce liver inflammation. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, and arugula are rich in chlorophyll and avocado, high in glutathione, a powerful liver-supporting antioxidant. Oats, chia, and flaxseed, full of soluble fiber to improve cholesterol and reduce liver stress. Turmeric, add a pinch with black pepper 2 meals for its anti-inflammatory effects. Olive oil, replace vegetable oils with extra virgin olive oil. It's been shown to reduce liver fat. One of my patients, James, age 62, reversed his grade to fatty liver in 6 months. Not with pills, not with supplements, just by walking daily, eliminating sugary drinks, and eating real food. And now, his liver is clean, his energy is back, and his doctor couldn't believe the improvement on follow-up scans. In the next section, we'll go even further. I'll reveal the top 5 foods that damage your liver most, even more than alcohol in some cases. If you're eating any of these daily, it may be sabotaging your progress. You've seen what helps your liver heal. Now, let's expose what's quietly destroying it. Even in people who think they're eating healthy, I've seen hundreds of patients who are doing everything right, exercising, taking their medications, cutting back on alcohol, and still had fatty liver, because they were unknowingly consuming some of the most toxic foods for liver health every single day. Let's walk through the top 5 liver saboteurs, and why they're more dangerous than you think. 1. High fructose corn syrup, the silent liver killer. This one tops the list. High fructose corn syrup is not the same as natural sugar from fruit. It's a highly concentrated sweetener used in sodas, juice boxes, granola bars, breakfast cereals, salad dressings, ketchup, and barbecue sauce. Your liver is the only organ that can metabolize fructose, and when it gets overwhelmed, it turns that sugar straight into fat. This is exactly how non-alcoholic fatty liver disease develops. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're eating it. Even healthy products like protein bars or yogurt can be loaded with it. If you have fatty liver, this ingredient should be completely eliminated from your life. 2. Refined carbohydrates. The fake energy trap. White bread, pasta, crackers, bagels, cookies. These might not seem dangerous, but they act like sugar in your body. Refined carbs are stripped of fiber and nutrients, spike your blood sugar, and fuel insulin resistance. That resistance leads to fat buildup, especially in the liver. A 2021 study showed that people who consumed refined grains daily were twice as likely to develop not fatty liver disease than those who ate whole grains. Here's the rule. If it comes from white flour and isn't paired with fiber, it's harming your liver. 3. Vegetable oils high in omega-6. The inflammation bomb. Many people cook with vegetable oil thinking it's healthy, but most vegetable oils, like corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, are high in omega-6 fatty acids. The problem, omega-6 is inflammatory in excess, and our modern diets are overloaded with it. An ideal omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is around 4:1, but today, most people are eating 20:1 or worse, and that creates a chronic inflammatory state right in the liver. Chronic inflammation leads to liver scarring, fibrosis, and long-term damage. Instead, switch to extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, which have been shown to support liver health. For ultra-processed, healthy snacks, the deceptive danger: protein cookies, granola bars, low-fat crackers, flavored yogurts. They may have healthy-looking packaging, but many of these are loaded with hidden sugars, sodium, artificial sweeteners, preservatives. All of these put additional strain on your liver, especially when eaten daily. If you're trying to clean your liver, your best bet is to avoid packaged snacks altogether. Eat real food. If it didn't come from the earth or need a label, your liver will thank you. 5. Alcohol. Even small amounts can add up. Yes, even though we're talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver, alcohol can still exacerbate liver fat and inflammation. The problem isn't just heavy drinking. Even social drinking, 1 or 2 glasses of wine per night, can interrupt your liver's repair process. If your liver is already struggling with fat accumulation, alcohol acts like gasoline on a fire. You don't need to swear off alcohol forever, but if you have fatty liver, a 90-day alcohol-free window can give your liver the reset it needs. The takeaway? Fatty liver isn't just about calories or fat. It's about the quality of what you consume and the daily choices that either protect your liver or slowly poison it. In the next and final part, I'll show you how to build a simple daily plan that combines everything we've covered: signs, symptoms, causes, foods to avoid, and foods to embrace, into a sustainable routine that supports a clean, healthy liver for life. Now that you understand the risks, symptoms, and consequences of fatty liver, let me walk you through the part that matters most: how to take action, starting today, because this condition is not a death sentence. The liver is one of the few organs in the human body that can fully regenerate, but only if we give it the proper support. So in this final section, I will guide you step by step through a daily routine designed specifically to reduce liver fat, lower inflammation, and support the healing process naturally. These are the same strategies I share with patients in my science-based changes that, when applied consistently, can make a profound difference. We begin in the morning, when the liver is still in detox mode from overnight metabolic activity. First, start with water before anything else. Before coffee, before breakfast, before medications, drink a full glass of room temperature water. Add a squeeze of lemon or a pinch of sea salt if you can tolerate it. This rehydrates your body, promotes bile flow, and begins flushing the toxins your liver filtered overnight. Next, eat a liver-friendly breakfast. Avoid cereals, white bread, processed spreads, and fruit juices. Instead, focus on real, unprocessed foods: a bowl of plain oats with ground flaxseed and blueberries, 1 boiled egg, or a few slices of avocado. Foods high in fiber, low in sodium, and rich in Then, move your body. Just 10 to 15 minutes of gentle walking, stretching, or yoga in the morning can stimulate circulation and activate the enzymes needed for fat metabolism. Remember, sedentary mornings contribute directly to insulin resistance and liver fat accumulation. By midday, your goal is to stabilize blood sugar and avoid the spikes that worsen fat storage in the liver. Choose whole foods for lunch: grilled chicken, cooked lentils, quinoa, leafy greens. Avoid high-sodium sauces, processed meats, and refined carbohydrates. Use olive oil as your primary fat, not vegetable oils. Avoid snacking on processed foods. Instead of crackers or pastries, opt for a small handful of almonds, cucumber slices with hummus, or a piece of fruit. Your liver processes every food choice. Make it easier on this vital organ. In the evening, the liver begins preparing for its overnight repair phase. Eat early and eat light. Finish your last meal at least 2 hours before bedtime. Overeating at night overwhelms the liver, disrupts bile production, and impairs overnight detoxification. Focus on anti-inflammatory meals. Dinner could be a piece of grilled fish with steamed broccoli and a small sweet potato. Add turmeric to your food. Use cruciferous vegetables often. These contain sulfur-based compounds that enhance liver enzyme function and reduce the buildup of toxins. And finally, prioritize sleep. The liver performs critical restorative functions while you sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted rest. Create a dark, cool, quiet, sleeping environment. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, or screens in the hour before bed. Now, here's what I want you to do this week. 3 small changes. 1. Eliminate a liver-toxic food, whether it's sugary cereal, soda, or fast food. Pick one and remove it completely. 2. Add a liver-supporting food to your daily meals. Avocado, flaxseed, olive oil, oats. Any of the 6 we covered earlier. 3. Monitor a symptom you've been ignoring, whether it's fatigue, nausea, bloating, or itching. Keep a journal. Note when it happens and talk to your doctor. Remember, reversing fatty liver isn't about drastic overhauls. It's about consistent, intelligent choices. It's about giving your liver the right conditions to do what it's designed to do. Your liver doesn't need perfection. It needs protection. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you identify a symptom, understand your risks, or feel empowered to take action, consider sharing it with a friend or family member. You never know who may be living with silent liver disease.